he had ideas of what he expected out of Bubba right off the bat.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Todd Brown, That Racing Show. Thanks for dropping by for this pit stop segment. Man, as the title says, could Michael Jordan even fire Bubba Wallace? That was if he wanted to, which no indications right now that's going to happen. But the reason why I'm doing this, is because I continuously, week in and week out, see people comment on this on my own channel, on different various platforms across the internet. People say, why won't Michael Jordan fire Bubba Wallace? And so what I want to do today is I want to present the facts. We're going to do this like this is a court of law. I'm going to present the facts to you, let you decide for yourself. And I'm going to be like the yellow lines down the middle of the road. It's going to be information coming this way, information going that way, and I'm going to be the divider to try to keep them from colliding. And I'm going to do this in the most unbiased way that I can, because that's the way I try to be with every race car driver. Respect them all. Now, here's the deal. There's a lot of people involved in this organization at 2311. A lot of people making decisions. It's not Michael Jordan up there signing checks going, okay, we're hiring this guy, we're firing this guy. That's not the way it works. Not the way it works with any team out there. And it was very evident with this interview right here.
Meet your driver.
What's up, little man?
How you doing?
I didn't know you were this small, man. I think he's small.
So prior to the Daytona 500 in 2021, the debut race for 2311, Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan had never met prior. So that right there tells me there's a lot of people who made these decisions. Michael didn't make the decisions. Obviously, he wanted Bubba in there because that was great news, great for him. And if it works out, that's a match made in heaven. But obviously, a lot of people making these decisions outside of this, giving stats, giving information to Michael to help further his decision. But then there was a lot of people that said, well, they were talking by text. There was a lot of other information going on between them. And I present this to the court.
What happens?
Probably got 60 to 75 text messages after we announced that night. And I got about 10 unknown numbers. And then I get one and I'm like, reading the message. And then at the bottom it says MJ. And I said, let me read that again. Read the message, MJ. Oh, awesome. Michael Jordan just texted me.
So Bubba's saying, I got these lists of numbers. Didn't know the numbers. I go through MJ. I just got a text from Michael Jordan. So that tells me they hadn't even communicated by text anything prior to this. And I find that very interesting. But yet, as I say, so many people make decisions in racing that are not just the team owner. And in this case, we got Michael Jordan. I mean, the greatest basketball player ever out there, a legend. And he's a basketball player. He's not a racer. He's not involved in this at this aspect. So rightfully so, somebody else is going to make the decisions. And I have a huge feeling that a lot of other people still make the decisions with this. And, now one of the cool things about it, him and Denny are partners. They bought 2 charters to start this for around $10 million apiece. And, they're out there doing what they need to do right now. And a lot of people question, they ask, why is Michael Jordan even involved in NASCAR?
But people don't realize you've been a big NASCAR fan for a long time.
I grew up in NASCAR. My father used to pack the whole family in. We go to Darlington, we go to Rockingham, we go to Charlotte. We came down to Daytona, Talladega, and we would just go and we spend the whole day. And from that point on, I've been hooked on NASCAR.
So Michael has a lot of heritage with the sport, a lot of memories. Everybody knows the story with him and his dad. So his dad would be super proud and happy of him with what he's doing right now. And there was also more reasons for Michael to get involved in NASCAR.
I've thought about it so many different times because I've never seen, a black owner or, someone of color that really owned their team or, could dictate what happens with their team. Obviously we haven't really been dominant in this sport, but that, the opportunities have never been presented to you.
So Michael wanted a team. He wanted to be a decision maker for a team, be one of the first black owners in the series to be competitive, make decisions and everything like that. And this is where I have to disagree with him because there was a lot of other people that laid this groundwork prior to him. Obviously, Wendell Scott, everybody knows the story with Wendell Scott. I'm going to tell you a name that probably a lot of people don't know, and that was Thee Dixon. He owned Mansion Motorsports, and I actually knew Thee back in the day, and it's wild because he owned a painting service, and his company worked at the location I worked at. So I actually got to see him at different times and go check out the race car at the racetrack. And they had Glidden as a sponsor, number 13. It was actually the original Rainbow Warrior car, believe it or not. But and that brings me to another couple names come from another sport into this, and that was Washington Irvin Motorsports. This was Julius Irvin, another NBA star, Joe Washington, NFL star, who formed this race team, ran the Busch Series for a couple years. And that brings me to the other name, the other NBA guy in NASCAR, who's happened to be here since 1997. That's Brad Daugherty. Brad, a winning owner across all the divisions in NASCAR, and also becoming the first black primary owner to ever win the Daytona 500 in NASCAR. So some pretty good stats right there. But I get where Michael's coming from. He's saying, I want to be the competitive one. I want to be the winner. I want to be the champion. And he did. He had ideas of what he expected out of Bubba right off the bat.
I feel like he's going to learn how to win. He's got the talent. We would not have invested in him and picked him if he didn't have the talent to win. By the end of the year, I think he's going to have an opportunity and probably will win at least a couple of races.
Now, obviously, Michael Jordan's saying we have expectations for him to go out there and win. Wanting a couple wins. And let's take a look at the stats of Bubba Wallace from 2021 with the debut of 2311 to last weekend. And 2021, Bubba did, in fact, go out there and get one victory. Wasn't able to get two like MJ wanted, but was able to get one victory at Talladega. Rain-shortened race, but nonetheless, in the stat books, it's a victory. And 3 top 5s and 3 top 10s for the season. Not a bad debut year for 2311. And that moves us to 2022. This was a transition year for him. The 45 team with Kurt Busch being added on. And Bubba Wallace not getting to run all the races in 2022. Missed one race. We all know why. If you don't know why, go read about it. Pretty interesting. But Bubba ended up that year with one victory and 5 top 10s, or 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s for the season. And his partner over there, Kurt Busch, he only got to run 20 races because suffered that injury and unfortunately retired. But in those 20 races, Kurt Busch out there getting one win, 5 top 5s, and 8 top 10s. So, pretty good year for the team all the way across the board again. And then we move to 2023. This is obviously the year Tyler Reddick comes into the scene. And I think this is where the pressure really came on because in 2023, Bubba only securing 5 top 5s and 10 top 10s. No wins and pretty stable, pretty parallel with his previous year with top 5s and top 10s. So, but then you got Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick comes out there, gets 2 wins, 10 top 5s, and 16 top 10s. And that raises the bar. Raises the bar right there of what's expected out of everybody with this team. And that brings us to 2024, where 10 races in, Bubba Wallace has 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. So his averages as far as top 5s and top 10s is better than what it's been. But then we got to look at Tyler Reddick. Already got 1 win this year, 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s and 10 races. So again, pressure's on him there to perform. And this is where the questions raised all the time by so many people, obviously, because I read it constantly out of people with their thoughts and opinions on this. And it's really interesting because Michael Jordan also had this to say.
We're in control.
But at the end of the day, they're ultimately in control because they're the ones signing them checks. It's good cars.
And the thing is, we don't sign checks to losers. So
So this is where the big question is, with everything else aside, is Bubba Wallace on the winning side or is he on the L side of everything that's going on here? And, we're early into the season. A lot of racing left. Bubba, he could go out there and win a couple races this season, or he might not get another top 10 the rest of the year. But it's going to be interesting to see where all this takes place. But this brings me to the next topic I want to bring up here, which I think is the launching point for so many people's opinions and comments about everything. And let's start with this first.
And I got to say, last year, NASCAR flipped the script against some of the stereotypes that are usually associated with the sport, especially when it came to social justice issues.
I thought it was a start, for sure. For years, I've been asked, how do we get more minorities in the sport? I'm like, that's a good question. It's at the top of NASCAR's lists. And then the Confederate flag rolled around. It's like, there is so much backlash about this flag from the minority group that we are trying to attract. They're not going to be a part of this until it's gone. I said, let's make a stance. Let's put our foot down right now. You know, we're opening the door for a whole new family to come in and enjoy our sport.
So Bubba obviously saying that NASCAR was wanting to bring diversity into the fan base, into the sport. And that's something that obviously I'm not going to deny. Very obvious with the additions of different tracks, moving around the country to different places. This is something that they were after, so I can completely believe exactly what Bubba's saying with this. The interesting part about all this stuff is comes down to the poll road. This is where so many people base their comments and things off from. And this unfortunately came a couple weeks after the whole debate with the rebel flag. And, people constantly debate back and forth. Rebel flag had to go, but the Black Lives Matter car was allowed to be in. And this caused a big controversy. And I first want to start out with this right here. And again, man, this is not to defend Bubba in any way, but I just want to put some facts out there. And the fact is, Bubba was not the one who found the rope in the garage area. I'm not going to call it a noose because it wasn't a noose. I've been in garages all my life. I've seen these things since I was a child. So it's not a noose. But I can see people's opinion on this. But the thing was, Bubba did not find it himself. It was actually a crew member of the team, the 43 team, who saw it. He was, in fact, himself an African-American. He brought it to the attention of the crew chief. They brought it to the attention of NASCAR. NASCAR brings the FBI in. The whole thing goes to hell. It's world news everywhere. And then the spotlight's put on Bubba, and Bubba takes off this way and everything else. And I've heard interviews from Bubba where he said, I didn't want this. I didn't need this spot. He just wants to drive race cars. And then I've heard other things where he took off and ran with it. So there's different aspects to all of this, but NASCAR put themselves in the middle of this. And, listen to this.
What was that moment like for you?
And then when I got out and I started seeing more faces behind the drivers, I'm like, that's more than 40 drivers. That's what you see me stand up and look back, and I immediately dropped down to the car because the entire garage was rallying behind him.
Now, me personally, I'm just the type of guy, I don't like to see politics involved in racing. I'm an old dirt racer. I love stuff like that. I love people going to the racetrack and and being able to do and be who they want to be, and not hurting other people's feelings. And I completely get where NASCAR is coming to try to bring in new, diverse crowds, because the older fan base is falling away, and you got to attract a new fan base. And I get every bit of that. And in so many ways, I support it. Other ways, I think some things are going crazy with it. But I don't think NASCAR should have put that on everybody. They should have just stayed back and let things play out in its own way, because it's racing. I do got to point out this though. Take a look at BJ McLeod. This guy, I love BJ McLeod. I think he's such a character, and I'm gonna tell you, if you see him at the racetrack, you see him in the garage area, he's usually wearing a shirt with. He looks like he's going to a rock concert all the time, and I love this. I love this about him. And the thing is, he don't fit the mold so much that NASCAR loves. And that's where, when it comes to diversity in so many ways, I support it, because I'm a former rocker as well. And I still am a rocker. I just don't play music anymore. But that's diversity. It's acceptance of things. And I see, not that he's not accepted, but he's not the poster boy for what NASCAR wants. So I don't know. I don't even know how to finish this with that. But anyways, I know you're going to put your comments out there. Please be cool with them. Let's not get crazy on anything. This is talking racing. So let's keep it cordial. Let's keep it fun. And I know I'm going to get people that don't like Bubba commenting, people that love Bubba. And like I say, I'm in the middle. I'm just a racer. I love racing. I love to talk about it. So anyways, get your comments down below. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. And please don't attack me on any of this stuff. It's just talking racing, presenting facts, letting you decide for yourself. But anyways, hope you're having a great week. And as always, we'll see you at the checkered flag. I'm going to go finish this beer.